I'm willing to talk without an attorney. Okay, you know what we're gonna ask you about. We already know what you did. And you know.
I did make postings in Rome.
Yeah, this is
that is correct.
Right.
I mean,
we just want to find out the story, your end of the story, you know. This is what happened.
May I?
Oh, absolutely. Can you read like that?
Hey, you can take them off.
Let me take some of those off.
You'll be a gentleman.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you're a gentleman, that me
That's
and
what I
us,
explained.
yeah, we'll be a gentleman right back to you, okay?
Yeah.
That's all.
You
Yeah, we just need to, I think we can do this civilized.
I think you were very civilized to us there at the airport. And very convenient. Thank you for...
You're welcome.
That would have been funny if we turned you in the car and said, come out with us. And you wound up here anyway. That would have been like Keystone Cops.
Kind of odd how I went up to you asking for a ride.
I think because you recognized me, that's why.
No, I
You didn't? You don't remember me?
Barely. You
Okay.
seemed, I thought you all worked at the Hertz rent-a-car place.
Oh, really?
Or
Okay.
whatever that place was.
Yeah, it was the
there.
Hertz rent-a-car. Yeah. Okay.
Keep it.
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
Okay, no, we're good. You can leave the door cracked open. Yeah.
I have barely eaten all day.
Really? How long you been in the air? I
Oh
mean,
my God.
when did you leave?
Now that was an endeavor.
Really?
Air Canada is not allowed to go on strike.
Okay.
So all the pilots and mechanics called in sick.
Oh.
So I was in Frankfurt, Germany.
For how long?
Just overnight.
Oh, okay. Did you get anything to eat there?
Yeah, I had a buffet, and that was
Okay.
it. And it wasn't that great, but that was last night.
Okay.
And then today I had 2 bowls of cereal. And I did have a burrito, but those just are nothing.
Yeah, no, I agree. No, yeah, eat and enjoy, take your time. Eat slow, don't, okay, just eat slow and...
May I have a napkin?
Oh, hang on 1 second. There you go. You're welcome.
So you have my entire federal file? Like, even my interrogation at the Pentagon?
No, I don't have...
Oh, you don't have that?
I don't have that. And, yeah, and you know, I know that you said that you were interrogated. Where were you going? What did you do at the Pentagon?
I got renditioned and interrogated at the Pentagon on 2005, October 3rd, Monday. It's actually how I violated my initial probation.
Oh, by going out there? I mean, you left without telling anybody?
Do you know what rendition means?
No, tell me.
It's basically our government taking people hostage.
Okay.
I was told that I wasn't under arrest.
Uh-huh.
I wasn't being detained.
Okay.
I, for a certain amount of point, had handcuffs and fully automatic assault rifles pointed at my face.
Uh-huh. Well, at the Pentagon, I can understand it. I mean, I've been on the Pentagon tour, so I saw some of the, I mean, I went behind the scenes there. I saw, I mean, I was just there not too long ago, back a couple months ago.
I was hanging out there last spring break, holding my sign.
Oh, okay.
I have that sign in my backpack.
Okay.
I was holding it outside the U.S. Embassy in Rome.
Okay.
It says Satellite Controlled Bio Warfare, National Reconnaissance Office, Geo-Orbital Spatial.
Okay.
It's in my backpack.
Okay.
I was...
Yeah.
Did he already request to speak to us then?
I would like to speak with you guys, but first may I eat? Because
Yes,
I'm really, really shaky right now.
Okay, what else can you use that will stop you from getting shaky? Is that enough?
I just gotta eat.
Okay, because you can have the sandwich I got for myself if you need that too.
No. If I eat too much, I'm gonna vomit, and I'll just get worse.
Okay, well, you don't want that. Especially the vomit part. If you need a candy bar or anything like that goes.
No sugar. No, I do not agree with sugar. So I did make postings on Facebook in Rome.
Okay, well, let's go back just one step.
Okay.
Because of what you said to me on the ride over, I need to hear you say that you want to just explain it or whatever.
I, Kenneth Royal. Thank you. I, Kenneth Royal Wheeler, am willing to discuss this arrest issue matter with whoever
Okay.
you all.
Special Agent Kavanaugh, Special Agent FBI.
What was your name?
John Patnazy.
Oh, Pat.
Yeah,
Can
well,
I
I take,
go
no,
by first
the,
name?
the correct way, John, I'm John, you
Okay.
can call me John, okay?
All right.
Yeah. this
I'm
is-
Kenny.
Okay,
Okay.
Kenny. We can call you Kenny?
Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
thanks.
My full name's Kenneth Royal, but I go by Kenny.
Okay.
Okay, I want you to read this. This is just the rights I read you in the car, okay? And just print your name, sign your name, and then we're good to go, and I'll be all happy, and John will be all happy, and we can start hearing your side of the story.
Do I fill this out?
No, you print your name here,
Mm-hmm.
sign there, and we'll be good to go. Again, if you feel like you need anything else, or you can tell us some other food product that might help stabilize
Today
you.
is the 20th?
Yes.
So if you need some other kind of food, just let us know too.
So how long have y'all been waiting there? Because
Not too
I didn't
long.
make the initial flight.
About 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Really, y'all weren't there at 3:30? That's when I was originally supposed to be there.
Oh, I was there at 3:30. So, yeah.
Yeah, my itinerary is in that stuff.
Your itinerary,
Mm-hmm.
and we can go through your bag then, so.
Yeah.
So, when did you leave?
The 9th.
You left
From
the
Grand
night
Junction,
from the
Colorado.
Grand Junction?
I went from Grand Junction to Denver, Toronto,
Mm-hmm.
from Toronto to Zurich to Rome.
Did you spend any time in Zurich or just
Transfer. And then while in Rome, when I went, I had my carry-on, and I had a tube of 4 paintings. 2 4-foot by 5 foot, and 2 3-foot by 2 foot. All acrylic, semi-abstract angel, and 2 phoenixes. They didn't show up in Rome. They said they'd be there in a couple hours. It took till Friday to get them. They showed up Thursday in Milan somehow. They just magically showed up in Milan. And then they're like, oh, these are supposed to be in Rome. They got to Rome Thursday. Friday I picked them up. I went to a museum to try to sell them. They said, here's the phone number. Call us. Come back Monday to audition. I was like, I leave Monday. And they're like, well, come back Monday if you want these in this museum. And so then I walked them over to the Vatican and gave them to the Swiss Guard to give to the Pope as a present. And then Monday I left.
Monday the 19th,
Yes.
from Rome.
Sunday night I spent in the airport. Didn't get any sleep actually at all. So I wanted to make sure I didn't miss my plane. And because there are just so many different issues going on with Air Canada.
So then on the way back you flew from Rome to?
Rome, Frankfurt. Flights got canceled because they're not allowed to go on strike, so they all called in sick. All the pilots and mechanics decided to call in sick.
Okay.
Spent the night in a hotel. I stole the towel from that hotel. It's in my backpack. It has their name on it.
No.
Just saying, you're going to find a towel in my backpack that matches the key card. And to the best of my knowledge, Air Canada will be paying for
I don't
it.
think they missed a towel. So
And
Frankfurt to?
Toronto to Denver, Denver to Grand Junction.
Okay. So why don't you tell us what you were doing, what about those postings, basically, is what we want to know.
Hmm?
What about those postings that you posted? How many were there that were kind of like...
One or two.
Okay. Now, you did that on your Facebook account?
Mm-hmm, that is correct.
Does anyone else have access to your Facebook account?
To the best of my knowledge, anybody at the college who works in the IT department has access to all my accounts, due to the fact that when you use their network, their people can see your passwords through their network override security thing.
Okay.
So besides that, to the best of my knowledge, only me.
Okay. So was anybody else, did anybody else in Rome with you at the time you were in Rome
Not to my knowledge.
have your passwords to get into your Facebook account?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay. So what sparked that? What sparked that?
Oh, I guess it would be a slew of shit talk from cops telling me that they're going to get me, set me up, and every other thing under the sun. And the way I looked at it is, if I'm not in America, I'm not in American jurisdiction, so I can return the shit talk without this. This being any type of legal repercussions.
Okay.
From the Americans, because I was under the full understanding and awareness that if I'm not in America, I'm not in American jurisdiction.
Okay.
To the best of my knowledge, I was in Rome, so I believed and was aware to the fact that I was only within the jurisdiction of Italy.
Okay.
While in Italy, such as when I was at the Vatican, I was in the jurisdiction of the Vatican, considering that they're two separate countries and states recognized by the United Nations.
Okay. But you, in some of those postings, you were very specific about people, individual officers, and daycare center. Why would you mention those officers in particular in
well, it comes back to a whole slew. See, how should I put this? You're asking, how should I say, pinpoint questions and a wide spectrum analysis. And like, which one do you want first?
Let's see. Let's start with, I think the first one was maybe Adam Winch.
Officer Adam Winch. I go to Seventh-day Adventist Church, and there's a resource officer by the name of Mark Brown who basically, for lack of a better term, hates my guts. Always talks shit, and knows that I cannot stand pedophiles or rapists, and I'm a firm believer that they should just be executed without question. So, he always liked to rub in my face that cops are rapists, and they only exist to rape and murder children and all this shit.
Mark Brown.
Yeah, and he totally pushes that a lot. And there's other people in our little church group who call him out and say, hey, you shouldn't be talking that way. If one, we're in a church, two, you're effing cop. And his whole thing is like, well, it's my word versus his, and he's a criminal, and I don't like him, fuck him. And I'm the him, he's saying fuck him too.
Okay.
And, so yeah, he's even gone, has said, that, he told me that Officer Adam Winch raped and murdered Mystic Salazar and did whatever with her body.
Mark Brown did?
Mm-hmm. Resource Officer Mark Brown.
Where's your resource officer, do you know?
In the school district.
Okay. Any school in particular, or all of them?
All of them. He's the head resource officer of the school district 51, I believe, is here.
In Mesa County, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Mark Brown tells you that Adam Winch is a...
child rapist, child murderer, and he's a cop, and he's always raping people, and this and that. As for the Officer Janda one and Aaron Christensen. Aaron Christensen's a felon, and he's a snitch for Officer Janda, who eventually he's going to get his record expunged and become a cop by snitching people out to prove that his whole allegiance to the police. And has repeatedly told me that one day he's going to find me drunk at the bar and set me up with drugs, and Officer Janet's going to bust me.
That's what Christensen says to you?
Yeah, many a time. And not only that, Aaron Christensen has gone off and even said that I don't know the exact words, but basically he knows that I don't like rapists or pedophiles, and he pushed that point also. Same with Christopher Gousset, who was also in those postings.
Right.
And so that's why I put that in there, because those pieces of shit constantly push that and say that shit to me, and I have no way of basically getting legal help of any kind, because it's my word versus theirs. That guy's a street snitch for a piece of shit cop that I went to college with, who hates my guts because I believe his exact words were, order my girlfriend to fuck him while we were at college. This is my first time in college back in 2004.
Sir, Adam Winch did what?
Not Adam Winch, Officer Janda.
Oh, Officer Jan you went to school with.
Yeah, he was on the rugby team,
Okay.
and he tried getting me on the rugby team just because I was fucking around with some girls that were pretty good looking. And he even bragged about how he's going to become a cop, and those girls won't have a choice then.
Okay. I don't remember off the top of my head some of the other guys. Why did you then talk about the school?
Which school?
You specifically mentioned Stepping Stones daycare.
Oh, that leads back to the whole Aaron Christian being a piece of shit, and the whole Mark Brown motherfucker talking that shit. I don't remember exactly what Mark Brown told me, but he's like, he was joking, I hope he was joking, but he was laughing about how all the cops send their kids to that specific daycare, and that's, I really don't want to repeat it, but I guess I have to because it makes me look like a piece of shit if I don't. So he said something along, and even Aaron Christian said this because I even spoke to Aaron about it, and then Aaron pushed the point on it. Fucking, pardon my language. Mark Brown said something about, that's the daycare you send your kids to, so that way you can pick other kids that you want to rape and murder. Something along those lines.
Mark Brown said that to you?
Mm-hmm. In Seventh-day Adventist Church, which is on 7th and Mesa, I believe. And this wasn't recent. This was like over a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
And like recently, you know, he hasn't been as bad. You know, he still puts in those little words of like eating at me, you know, like, oh, me and all my cop friends just got done raping and murdering some kids. How do you feel about that, Kenny? Just like that, you know, and it just pisses me off immensely. Obviously, to the point of putting those posts in Italy.
But why would you want to then kill all the kids in the daycare center?
During my interrogation at the Pentagon, which was basically me being really respectful at first and then being completely disrespectful the entire time, got to the point that I was like, fuck it, you want to know what? Because they kept pushing the point, because I'm from Colorado, and they brought up the whole Columbine thing, all right? And I was like, you want to know what? That was the year I graduated, and that was some hardcore shit for basically me and everybody else in my high school, because I went to Montrose High School, which was a really small town. And we were so small at the time, we didn't even have all 4 grades at the high school. We just had 10th, 11th, and 12th. But that's besides the point. So anyway, at the Pentagon, I started getting mouthy, and I was like, okay, well, check this out. There are no such things as schools in America. There's only terrorist training facilities. There's no such things as children in America. There's only the reproductive resources of the enemy. Because they were getting mouthy with me, I was getting mouthy with them, and I was using my intelligence and my, how should I say, abstract thought process and elaborating words to basically tell them to go fuck themselves in a very elaborate, fucked up manner. So I still say those things because, you know, you guys aren't the only people from the government who stop me, you know.
Who did you speak with at the Pentagon?
Well, first they introduced themselves as special agents of the United States Department of Defense, and then they said that they were officers of the Central Intelligence Agency.
When was that?
2005, October 3rd, Monday.
he there for?
8 hours at least, my guess.
And why would they even bring you in there to talk to him? What were you doing around the Pentagon that would...
You're going to have to ask him that question. I know this is going to sound crazy, but I know her as Natalie. The internet knows her as Valerie Plame. I know her as Natalie Plame. I used to be her babysitter in Telluride, Colorado. She's the spy that got narked out by George Bush.
Mm-hmm.
That had a lot to do with it.
Okay. Well, let's get back on task.
Okay.
Didn't you think that by asking, bringing up a school, having lived through Columbine, that time, that would...
Be really fucked up? Yeah, I did. And I was...
In so many words, and get people talking? I mean, your posts are read all over the place, it seems, at least down here in Junction.
Really? I deleted everybody off my friends list.
So. Let me just go back a little bit. You live here in Junction?
That is correct.
Right. Where do you live?
Hmm?
Where do you live? What's your address?
I live in number 445 Tripita Avenue, Arabian Apartments, number 28.
Okay. How far is that from Stepping Stone's school?
3 blocks up, 3 blocks over.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that's it.
Is there...
I live on the corner of 5th and Tripita,
So you're fairly close to the school.
That is correct.
So you can understand our concern. I mean, you know
Completely.
exactly how far you are from that school. You can understand our concern that you're posting these things. Now we know that you believe that cops' kids went there, and that you're only 3 blocks away, or 6 blocks, or however it is, walking block to block. So that's one of the reasons you're here tonight.
Understandable. At first, to the best of my knowledge, I was with the understanding that I wasn't in American jurisdiction. I wasn't aware that any of this was remotely illegal or unlawful or against the Constitution.
Would you have posted the same things if you were here in the United States?
No.
But you know, not knowing that it's illegal doesn't make it a defense. It's still illegal to do.
I was always taught that America has American laws, outside of America is outside of American jurisdiction.
I mean, you seem like a really intelligent guy, and you know the internet is worldwide.
Mm-hmm.
And these messages travel. Okay, these are seen all over the place.
But to the best of my knowledge, somebody has to go look for them. If I'm in Rome, I'm doing it in Rome. If somebody's in Sweden, they have to look onto the World Wide Web to see what I am doing in Rome.
Well, in your post, you also mentioned followers.
Yes, that is correct.
So what kind of followers would those be?
Oh, anybody I could get. Ever since I was a small child, I've always been trying to amass my own religious following.
Okay. So you can see why that's another concern for us.
Mhm.
Here we are, 5,000, 6,000 miles away from you in Rome, and you have somebody who's a follower that we don't know exists or doesn't exist.
And to tell you the truth, I used to go into chat rooms when I was younger. This was during, I even admitted to this during my interrogation at the Pentagon, so there should be a full report of this and a full investigation already said and done, and I was already released and cleared for, basically from the span of, I'm saying 2000, at the very latest, I would say 2002 to area 2005, I tried starting my own following on the internet using chat rooms and, basically looking for specifically for people who were harmed by cops. People whose sisters, mothers, brothers, whoever were raped or taken advantage of by the police.
And How did that work out?
He got me interrogated at the Pentagon.
Did it get you any people who were...
Supposedly, you know, on the internet, a lot of people said so, you know,
Okay. Anything...
Do you have any weapons?
no, I have no weapons.
Have you ever applied for a weapons permit or anything?
I've applied for a handgun back in 2004, before I was a felon.
Okay.
And before that, my ex-stepdad and I used to go hunting, but that's when I was a minor.
Okay.
And I had a Russian SKS and an Ithaca 22, and I believe my mother either sold them or my stepdad got them in a divorce. Not exactly sure what happened to them, but haven't seen them since 96, 97.
Okay.
Not since I was a minor.
Okay.
Have you had any contact with firearms since then? Just going to the range with somebody, or?
Not since I was a felon.
Okay. And what's that felony that you have?
Use of a stun gun. I had possession of a taser. I got jumped by meth addicts outside my dorm room. I'm the one who called the cops. I'm the one who got fucked over. If I would have actually zapped them, I would have gotten off scot-free. If I would have killed them, I would have gotten off scot-free. I was told this by the DA. And they even called me a budding domestic terrorist.
Who did that?
The DA. He said that I was smart enough to know the difference between right or wrong, and I was smart enough to know that if I would have used the stun, or the taser, because I had a handheld taser, and I was smart enough to know that two people who invaded my dwelling, that if I were to kill them, I would have gotten off scot-free with the Colorado Make My Day law. If I would have used any type of physical contact, such as self-defense, I would have gotten off with self-defense. But due to the fact I only used the threat of force, I was so smart that I knew that the threat of force was not protected by law, and therefore I'm a terrorist and a budding domestic terrorist, is what he said. Where I thought just the opposite, holding out the taser saying, "You don't come fucking near me," while my face was bleeding, would have been kosher.
Did that happen on campus?
Yes.
You were a student at the time?
Mm-hmm. Living in Monument Hall, room 113.
And what was the result of that case?
I got sent to prison.
How long did you do?
3 years and 3 weeks. The majority of the time in the most violent prison in the state of Colorado.
Which one was that?
Buena Vista.
Okay. Your folks around?
No. This may sound odd, but I'm actually an orphan, and I just kind of got stuck with a crack whore who lost her baby the same day that I was born, and kind of just got given to her. And I was told this since I was a small child.
But that is who you would call mom?
I don't call anybody mom or
Did you
dad.
call her mom when you were a kid?
No, I called her Melanie.
Okay. So is Melanie still around?
No clue.
Do you still have contact?
No, I have no contact with any of
Do you
them.
have any family relatives or of any type out here? Any relatives?
No, not that I know of. I have a technically a half-brother, who works at Denver Women's Correctional Facility in Denver. His name is Stephen Joseph Wheeler.
Do you have contact with him?
Nope.
Do you have any friends here locally, like, that you're really friendly with, that would give you a place to crash, or?
Yeah, I do a lot of community activism work, and we have a collective house.
Okay. Where's that? Is that 445 Chipeta? Or?
No, that's my apartment.
Okay. Are you the only one that lives in your apartment?
No.
Who else lives there?
Aaron Torline and Lisa, I don't know Lisa's last name.
Okay. What's Aaron's last name?
Torline, Tourline, I believe, and
who is it?
Lisa, I don't, yeah.
Okay.
Her dad's a cop, or an ex-cop. He works at the school.
Elisa's dad or
Mhm.
Aaron's?
Lisa, Aaron's dad, I believe his biological father is dead with his biological mother also, but his stepdad is still alive, and his half-brother is still alive.
Okay. Do you have stuff still at your apartment there? Like,
My bed,
if you needed to ride somewhere, would you call those guys to pick you up, or, you know?
yeah, I can.
You can? All right. But you don't have any relationship with your stepdad, I guess, or Melanie?
No, I have no relationship with anybody who can be considered related to me.
Okay. So you're pretty much on your own, except for the folks you know? in the
Yes,
area.
that's the way it's been my whole life.
Okay.
I used to live in the sewers when I was a child. So I'm used to living on my own.
What are you studying at school?
Fine art. The first time I went there for physics and chemistry. I was making pretty good grades, but those all got bad grades when I got expelled.
Mm-hmm.
So, I make a long story short, when I was on parole, I was on the ankle monitor, and, excuse me, there's the overflow church program with the homeless shelter, because I was on the ankle monitor in the homeless shelter, and while in the, I feel a burp, but I'm kind of stuck, so.
Well, feel free to burp.
So, American Lutheran Church was one of the sponsored churches where we went and did our overflow homeless thing at, and a woman by the name of Judy, I can't remember her last name, I think it's Coles, but she was basically telling me if I'm still in America after I'm done with my parole and school starts, she wanted me to go back to school. Because after I got off of parole, I went out to Washington, D.C., and went up and down Embassy Row and tried to defect.
Oh, that didn't work, huh?
No, not exactly.
Anything else?
Yeah. What do you do for a living?
I'm a student.
Okay.
I live off my student loans. During the winter, usually I shovel snow, but there wasn't too much snow. During the summer, I go up and down my neighborhood with a lawnmower.
Okay.
I do whatever I can, odd and end stuff. I'm registered with Labor Ready.
Okay.
So, how did you pay for your trip to
With
run?
my student loans.
Okay.
And what kind of loans are those?
They're actually through a special program. I don't know how I got it, but make a long story short, when that lady Judy was like, hey, I want you to go back to school, and I was like, well, I'll see what I can do. When I came back here to Colorado, after traveling the East Coast and trying to defect, I contacted the school, I contacted financial aid, and then I contacted the whoever had my loan in default, because it was in default when I got sent to prison. And I told them, I was like, hey, I can pay you like $15 a month, and they're like, well, you got to pay us $160 a month, and I was like, can't do it, sorry, just ain't got the money. And then they'd call me back, and I'd tell them, hey, unless you're going to take $15 a month, sorry. And they just keep calling me back, and then one day they called me and they're like, hey, we have this special program. All you have to do is sign this paperwork, and we're going to drop off the entire collection fee, send your loan back to the federal government in this special U.S. Department of Education program. You will not incur interest or have to make a payment until we say you're able to through your tax returns. So I'm in that special program right now.
How much do you get a year through that program?
No, I get normal loans, but when I get my loans, that program basically grabs them and puts them over there. Like a normal student loan, you can incur interest on, I don't.
Okay. So how much do you borrow at a time?
It's the normal allotment.
I don't know what that would be.
Okay, I believe it's like $5,000.
Okay. Per semester?
Yeah.
And that gets you your tuition and room and board and...
Mm-hmm. And I pay up my rent in advance.
Okay.
And how can you travel on that money? I mean, how can you travel? Did you use that money to travel with?
Mm-hmm.
Well, how can you do that? Is that you know, using that for recreation
Well, you
instead
see,
of education.
the Pell Grant is specifically for the education.
Okay.
The loan, you can do whatever you want.
Got it. You just have to, how much do you owe right now?
Total,
Yeah.
I believe, including my past loans that, you know, initially
Right.
went into default, and then I got this program, I believe 15,000,
Okay.
somewhere around there. And that's why I'm trying to sell my artwork.
Okay. Why did you do the post against Judge Larson?
Again, all the shit talk that has been, Aaron Christensen shows up to the bar occasionally, because I live down by Main Street. I frequent some of the bars, such as Tenacious Brothers, Sabrosa's, my friends own them. And Aaron Christensen used to be a bouncer door guy at Tenacious Brothers until he just became too much of a snitch. They're like, you can't work here anymore, you're just bad for business. You're constantly calling the cops on people, causing problems with everybody. And so he would show up at the bar, and he would say some of the most fucked up shit about how him and Officer Jander are going to do all this stuff, and then when he found out about my current my current DUI charge, and he was like, yeah, I know the cops set you up. I know you gave the keys to the cops. Even Judge Larson knows you gave the keys to the cops. And then he'd start going off on how Judge Larson and my public defender are in cahoots, and how she's not going to file the proper motions and all this to get the charges dropped, and Judge Larson knows about it and is working against me. And he would push that shit in my face and just rub it in there and be like, you can't do nothing about it, we're going to send you to jail, ha ha ha, fuck you. And he would even bring up my religious beliefs, which really pissed me off, saying that that's the predominant reason why all this stuff is happening to me.
You still go to the Seventh-day Adventist Church?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
What would happen, how would you feel if, in fact, somebody took you up on your posting? What?
You know, I would probably have a wide spectrum of mixed emotions, to tell you the truth. Obviously, I would feel bad for the people who got hurt, but at the same time, I would really want to point my middle finger in the face of certain people and say, that's what you get for all the terrorism you did to me. It hawk or go Proctor Hawk. You know, I know it's really messed up, but at the same time, you know, like, if it wasn't for this meeting, how do I get recourse? Or what does the Constitution say, petition the government for grievances? You know, like, here's the thing, with my DUI charge, right, I was at the bar, the cops show up to the bar, it's not my car, all right? I give the keys to the cops. Not only did I give the keys to the cops, I put them in his pocket, and I was like, there you go, fuck you, pig, I'm going to go get drunk, and went back inside. And then later on, they bring the car out, all right? And see, that's the thing, I know it's a setup because I wasn't that drunk, I didn't forget everything, you know, I remember most of the night. I remember giving the keys to the cops. Everybody else remembers giving the keys to the cops. Even other people at the bar remember the cops bringing the vehicle up, you know, and that's just like, what's going on with that, you know? And then saying it's okay for me to drive the village in, and then I get pulled over? You know, I know that sounds crazy, but, you know, what's going on?
Yeah, I mean, we can hear the frustration in your voice, but still, I mean, if someone were to walk in and kill a bunch of little kids at a school, I mean, you feel you're being persecuted and there's some inconvenience to you, but then these little kids are dead. I mean, I guess John's asking, how would you feel about that? I mean,
I feel fucked up.
is that justified?
I wouldn't call it no, it's not justified.
John, I'm just going to step out for 1 second.
Sure.
Any other questions, or?
I'll wait for Jerry to come in,
All right.
since he's taking the notes. That way there's only one document that gets produced from the notes, and there's not two, not everybody's making documents.
So why didn't you all have me up in Denver?
Well, I guess that wasn't part of the plan. The plan was wait till you come here.
Oh. If I never would have showed up? You
No,
would've
we
found-
crossed that bridge when we got to it.
Yeah, I should be asking those questions,
Yeah.
my bad.
Here's one, I have another question.
Sure.
Okay, are you on any medication?
No.
Okay, have you ever has anybody ever told you you need medication or anything?
I've been in the mental hospital twice,
For evaluation or what, or for what?
under the custody of the state. The first time I called my lawyer fucking retarded. He said I was incompetent.
The lawyer said you were incompetent, or you said the lawyer was incompetent?
He said I was incompetent.
Okay.
He wanted me I was being offered a 1-year prison deal.
Okay.
Because, I got rendition, taken hostage, interrogated at the Pentagon,
This
missed
is
a
all the
probation
time?
meeting.
Okay.
And then I get back, the Pentagon buys me a train ticket back to Colorado. I get back to Colorado, the day I'm in Colorado, bam, I have a warrant out for my arrest. I didn't know about it until the next day later when I go to my probation officer to say, hey, I'm sorry I missed my meeting on Wednesday, here I am Friday. I get hemmed up, and my probation officer's like, well, check this out, you're going to prison for a year. I was like, really? He's like, yeah, that's it. And I was like, okay, where do I sign? And he's like, well, you just got to wait and go through your court dates. And I was like, okay. My lawyer shows up, and his name's Tony Link, who is probably one of the biggest pieces of shit I've ever met in my life. He comes in and he's like, hey, Ken, the DA wants to give you a 5-year ComCore deal. And I was like, what happened to the 1-year prison deal? And he's like, what do you mean 1-year prison deal? I was like, well, my probation officer showed up and talked to me and said that he wants to give me a 1-year probation deal. And he's like, oh, well, I think we should go to the DA with 5 years. I was like, well, you just said the DA went to you with 5 years. And he's like, oh, no, I meant to say that we should go to the DA with 5 years. I was like, no, I'm taking 1. And this is what he does. He's like, Ken, think about it. You can have 5 years. And he's doing this, like 5 years instead of 1. And I'm looking at him like he's retarded. I was like, are you serious? And he's like, in 4 years, you can be on non-res. And I was like, Tony, if I fuck up once in that 4 years, I'll have to do 5 years, and I was doing this because he was doing it too, 5 years in prison, and they don't even have to give me time served for my ComCore time. And he's like, well, just don't fuck up once in 4 years. And I looked at him, I was like, whatever, I'm taking 1 year. And he's like, Ken, 1 year versus 5, think about it. I was like, Tony, by the time I get to prison, I'll be out in 3 months and it's said and done. And he's like, that's not a smart decision. I was like, what do you mean that's not a smart decision? He's like, you're incompetent. I was like, I'm incompetent? You're fucking retarded. And he's like, oh, I'm fucking retarded? You're going to the mental hospital. And so he told the judge I was incompetent, and then he quit. And then I had a competency evaluation. In a competency evaluation, you only have to get 2 of 6 questions right, and I got all 6 of them right. But for some reason, I was still incompetent. So I was sent to the mental hospital for what was supposed to be a minimum of 3 to 6 months, and I was only there for 30 days. I was there, and they were just like, you're completely fine, you're good to go. Then I come back, and bam, I was sentenced to 2 2s consecutive. 2 years and 2 years consecutive equals 4. First offense, no new charges, no hot UAs, no new nothing, just besides the fact that I missed that probation meeting. And I saw sex offenders getting probation, this and that, and people coming in and out left and right on new charges, and I guess I'm the only person that they've ever seen go directly to prison. Usually people get like community corrections or work release or something. Me, I just, bam, straight to prison. So.
Is this after the Mesa State incident?
Yeah, this is from the Mesa State incident, actually.
So how much time have you actually done in jail or locked up?
3 years and 3 weeks exactly for that, and then I did basically a 1.5 years on parole, and 6 months of that was re-locked up as a parole violation for a residency violation because my parole officer ordered that I live in the homeless shelter. And I was like, no, I have a full-time job, I'm living with friends, I'm not going back in the homeless shelter. And she's like, well, bam, you're going back to jail. Yeah, they really didn't like me after I said no to becoming an undercover cop, because I guess they said I had some really good street cred. Make a long story short, some douchebag walked into the mall with a gun and I beat his ass down before he got a shot off at Santa Claus.
Is that here?
Yeah. That was in November or December of 2008. And, I was completely and utterly fucked over because I said no to becoming an undercover cop. I don't believe in a secret police in a free society.
Is that Grand Junction
Yes.
PD? Or, okay.
And Mesa County Sheriff's Department and all that good stuff. And ever since I said no to that, they were just like, oh, we're going to make your life living hell.
I'm going to go back to this post for just 1 minute.
Sure, okay.
With the school or the kids of the police officers and police officers, did you have in your mind a way that you were going to do that?
No, not me at all. Like, that's the thing, it would not be me. You know, like, when I was trying to start my own religion, it was never me doing anything. You don't ever see a senator fighting a war, you don't ever see a president doing anything, you know. So I was just, what's good for the goose is good for the gander.
So basically you were doing...
Politicals.
Asking someone to do it for you, is that...
It's not asking someone to do it for me because, how should I put this? It was the police in Montrose who told me I should start it, you know. They're like, well, if you go this way, you're not going to get in trouble, Kenny. And they would push the point.
Start what?
My own religion. If they're like, if you want people to do stuff for you, don't do it yourself. Have other people do it. And don't say go out and do it. Mention that you'll be happy if this gets done. Basically, they were telling me how to manipulate people.
So, with regard to the daycare center and then the police officers and all those other people mentioned, you were suggesting then, is that the way to put it?
I really wouldn't say suggesting that it actually be done. I was more venting my frustration with the government that, you know, here I am being terrorized by them, and there's no way I can get recourse from these people, from the government, you know.
But you can see from our standpoint then, your venting is very specific.
That is correct.
Okay. And so you are asking people to follow through on this.
I don't know if I was asking. I was just basically trying to stick it to the man and say, fuck you.
Okay.
You want to talk all this shit about me and basically say all these horrible, evil things to me and tell me that, you know, you're going to do all these things to me and there's no way I can get any type of protection from, you know, the snitches on the street versus and the cops that they work for. Because, you know, it's my word versus theirs. I'm a criminal, and the good old boy system is the good old boy system.
Well, I guess with John and I here, do you understand the seriousness of what you did?
I do now.
You know, here we come, pick you up as you get off your airplane and kindly offer you a ride.
Our job is to protect the American people.
What about, am I an American? That's what I want to know.
Absolutely.
You know, because where do I get my protection from? You know, this is what I mean. This is why I'm trying to defect. You know, that's like when you guys were arresting me, and I was like, is this because of the meeting I had with the Russians?
And we'll get to that in a sec. But what John's saying is, if someone threatens you on Facebook...
What about threatening me to my face? What if a cop threatens me to my face?
Well, I haven't seen that. But what I'm telling you is, if someone threatens you specifically on Facebook, we'd be over there knocking on their door.
You know, and there's also avenues, Kenny, for you. If, in fact, the police are threatening you, they have, you know, there is ways that you can go through the PD and you can lodge formal complaints and everything. I don't know if you've tried
You know,
that.
I've lodged a formal complaint, and they didn't even write it down.
Okay, well, I know you can, okay?
Well, I have. That's what I'm getting at. When I have lodged complaints, they don't get written down at all. They're just like, oh, we'll talk with them.
Okay.
And that's it. You know, there's no official record of anything. And I even asked, I was like, can I sign something? They're like, you can do whatever you want, but we'll just throw it away. You know, straight to my face. And basically, it's my word versus theirs. It's me sitting here saying that I went there and lodged a complaint, and it's them saying, no, you didn't. And who is who going to believe when it comes to me being a convicted felon, somebody who's been to prison, you know, versus the system? Who's the system going to believe, you know? It's a nepotistic, sycophantic, lackey system, and they're going to side with themselves.
I understand that, but then you have to understand our standpoint when, okay, you're talking about your word against my word, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Well, then, we're saying, okay, then, why do you post this where it's actually your word against you? I mean, when you post this, this is what you're saying.
That is correct.
You want done. You know, and the harm that you want to cause people and preschool children and everything, and nowadays, unfortunately, because of Columbine and a lot of other things that are happening worldwide, nationally, and everything like that, believe it or not, these things do happen. And that's why Jerry and I have to look at all of these seriously, and because we can't let that happen again. We can't let another tragedy happen. We can't let it happen in our town. We can't let somebody target police officers or even try to recruit people to target police officers or school children or judges here. I mean, you gotta see where we're coming from. I understand your frustration, as Jerry says. I can hear how frustrated you are, but you gotta understand what in fact you're doing when you are doing this.
You know, like I said earlier, I honestly thought what I was doing was not anywhere near illegal, you know? I was like, I'm not in America. If the Italians want to, like, mess with me, and, you know, they did detain me for a couple hours, the Carabinieri.
At the Vatican?
No, in Italy.
Why did the Carabinieri?
They didn't like me talking to Russians. And when I was speaking with, I think it was the ambassador of the Russian embassy, that's when they were like, okay, we gotta get this guy out of here. I even have a report in my backpack. It's all in Italian.
Would you mind if we took a copy of that report?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Okay.
And if you could, like, interpret it and tell me what it says, that'd be awesome.
Well, if my really bad Spanish says anything.
It's not Spanish, it's Italian.
Well, they're really close. What was the thing with the Russians you keep mentioning?
I'm trying to defect.
Okay.
You want to be a Russian?
I want protection from the American government, any and all aspects, because, you know, this current DUI charge is complete setup. I'm not retarded, all right? Everybody at the bar who was there knows I gave the keys to the police. Like, I even opened up his pocket, stuffed them in there, like, there you go, fuck you. Went and I was even told him, I'm going to go get drunk, all right? And I told him, I was like, I have nothing to do with this car. It's not mine. I was with a girl named Diana. She was being stupid, and I was like, fuck this. Here, these are her keys, because I would give them to her, same hoodie. She kept putting them in here, and then causing a scene. Oh, you have my keys, being a dumb drunk bitch. So I just, bam, I throw them like that. I was like, there you go, you fucking dumb bitch. And then fucking she'd grab them again, do the same thing while I'm sitting talking with somebody, and I was standing talking with this girl, Melanie. She came up and attacked me from behind, and that's when the cops got called. And the cops were like, were you assaulted? And I was like, I'm not talking to you, I'm getting drunk. All I know is, pulled out the keys, these aren't mine, put them in his pocket, told him to go fuck himself, and we got more drunk. And then they pulled the car up, said it was okay to drive the village in, and then I got pulled over.
And so that's why you went, what day did you go to where did you go in Rome, to the Russian consulate office?
The Russian embassy.
The Russian embassy?
Santieta.
What day was that?
It's the day that's on the thing.
Oh, look at that. And what did the Russians say to you?
That's between me and the Russians.
Do they speak English or do you speak Russian?
They spoke English.
Okay. Just curious, obviously, you think it's going to be better to live in the Soviet Union than here?
I feel that
Soviet Union, right?
No, I was going to say that.
yeah, it's not the
But
Soviet
I'm letting
Union
you go
anymore.
with it.
Thanks.
It's the Russian Federation.
Okay.
But, that's why I also went to the Chinese embassy and the other embassies, basically to say, hey, I use the word persecuted, not prosecuted. I said I'm being persecuted, and all this stuff's going down, and all this BS is happening, and I have no way of protecting myself from the government system that is perpetuating these acts against me. And they're like, you're absolutely right. And if I would have stayed in Rome longer, I was supposed to go back and talk to him some more.
Okay. Let me, I just, real quick here, Ken.
All right.
This, changed your hair quite a bit, huh?
I haven't shaved in a while.
This is obviously taken from your Facebook page. This is something that you wrote, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. This is your posting?
That is to the best of my knowledge.
Okay. Would you do me a favor and just initial here that this was your posting? That was taken directly from your page, but you can read it again. I didn't add anything in there. Okay. And I'm going to do all three of these, because these are the ones that, I think this is the first one that came to our attention. Let's just do that one.
See, this is the thing right here. It was a setup, so here's the return paper.
No, we heard you can read the frustration. I mean, that comes through clearly. It was the other
What's
stuff.
the other page underneath?
Those might have been some older ones. I'm not hiding anything from you. These are back in 2011.
Okay.
Is there anything else you want to tell me?
No, I don't have anything else.
All right, well,
Wow, a letter from me.
Yeah, you sent me a letter.
Oh, I send thousands of letters.
Oh, okay. So I thought I was special, Kenny.
I'm sorry. No,
You burst my
I-
bubble tonight.
Yeah. The second time I got sent to the mental hospital was for sending a letter to the Russian embassy.
Okay.
So, yeah. And that was interesting because I was on the Trails crew, which is an honor crew in prison.
okay.
We operate pickaxes, all sorts of sharp, deadly objects. We are camping outside for 4 days a week, 8 weeks straight, under minimum supervision, basically being our own guard, digging the Continental Divide trail on the Continental Divide. And that whole time, all my two supervisors, I can't remember their names, but they were even the ones who were like, hey, you should go to Russia. They're a superpower, you're white, they're white, you'll blend right in. And they would even tell me the addresses to the Russian embassy. Like, hey, this weekend, what I did? I went and found you the Russian embassy address. Here you go, Wheeler. Write them a letter. So at Buena Vista, writing them was fine. And then when I got sent to Rifle, they're like, oh, no, you're crazy. We're sending you back to Uni. And then at Uni, a girl, this woman, her name's Gwinnett Smith. We all call her Jabba the Hutt because she looks like Jabba the Hutt. She's like, oh, you're crazy. Only crazy people want to go to Russia. And I was like, what about the people in Russia? And she's like, well, Russians are crazy for living in Russia. And I was like, wow, there's a whole continent full of crazy people. And she sent me to the mental hospital. And I was there for 1 week, and they're like, wow, we can't believe that woman wasted this much money.
One more quick question on the follower stuff. Do you know of anybody who's following you?
No.
I'm not saying that funny, I just, you haven't mentioned it, but I know you said you have, how many friends do you have on the Facebook stuff then?
None.
Did
I
you have any?
deleted them all.
How many did you have?
I think a couple hundred. Mainly from high school. Like, when I got out of prison, I started a Facebook page. I also started a MySpace page. I haven't been on MySpace in a while.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, like, people were like, oh, wow, Kenny Wheeler, I heard you were dead. I was like, nope, got in prison. Got interrogated at Pentagon, locked up. You know, and then they were like, oh, wow. And then, you know, everybody from high school just started sending me Facebook requests for friends, and I was like, I don't even know half you people. But I was just like, click sure, yes, click sure.
So, as far as you know, you got rid of everybody?
To the best of my knowledge, there shouldn't be anybody on my friends list right now.
That'd be like me on Facebook. Nobody'd be answering me. Well, but there's nobody who's responded to you in terms of...
No, never once.
You know, but specifically to these posts, nobody has responded saying, what do you want me to do, or...
No, if you want, I will access Facebook in front of you.
Sure you get that.
What's that?
Get that.
Yeah, one sec. That might not be a bad idea. You want another water or anything?
Yes, please, that would be
Okay.
awesome.
As soon as Jerry comes in, I'll get you another water.
Yeah, flying on planes makes you dehydrated.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
And I have been drinking lots of beer and wine.
Yeah?
Mhm.
Was Rome fun? I mean, did you have
Oh,
a
it was
good time?
awesome.
Where'd you stay there?
Hung around, met people, hang out, party.
Really?
Yeah. And, yeah, that's all I did. Met more Canadians than Americans, and the majority of the Americans I met, I can totally understand why people don't like Americans. Like, I went to this bar called Trinity College, and I got a map in my backpack, and in my map there's an ad for Trinity College. That's how I found out about it.
Okay.
And I get there, and in the ad there's some bartenders, and one of the bartenders, this girl, I can't remember her name, it was her birthday, and that was way cool. And like talking with her, you know, and just like kicking it and everything, she's like, are you sure you're not from Canada? And I'm like, eh? You know, just playing around, and she kind of laughed, and she's like, no, serious. I was like, serious? And I grabbed my passport, I was like, see, American, you know? And she's like, you mean USA? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, everybody in Europe says the Western Hemisphere is all American. North, South, Central, you're all Americans. But the USA, all the USA kids come in here, all they do is talk shit. You're the first USA kid in here not to talk shit. And I'm like, really? And that's what everybody said about me. Even when I went to this one bar right across the street from the Vatican, it was the same.
Can he have a water?
What's that?
Can he have a water?
I might have to fill that one up. Yes, okay.
That's my sign.
Yeah, what is that all about? Wait a minute. Don't say a word.
Okay.
You can tell me about the...
Okay, so yeah, I can't remember the name of the bar, but it was right across the street. Like, the Vatican's huge, right? And then, like, you have the front here, and then over here, there's, like, this little square where bus stops and the trolley is, and then there's these bars. I went to this one bar, and I get there, and there's two people from America, and then there's all these Canadians also, and some Italians. And first thing, I start talking to Americans, all they do is start talking shit. I'm like, whatever. I go start talking with the Canadians, and they're like, oh, wow, are you sure you're not from Canada? And I was like, why do people keep asking me that? And they're like, they're from America. Why aren't you talking with them? I was like, all they're doing is shit talking. And he's like, exactly, that's all you Americans do. You just constantly talk shit. I was like, well, I don't talk shit, right? And yeah, it kind of set me to the side, because like, that was the whole thing. Americans just complain and talk shit, and I was like, well, I'm just here to have fun and try to steal my pants, but that didn't happen.
Do you have a laptop or anything like that? An iPad?
Nope.
How did you access the internet when you were in
Internet cafe?
Do you know the names of those internet cafes by any chance?
No. They were ran by like Middle Eastern people who barely spoke English.
Okay. your Facebook, what's your Facebook name?
Kenneth Royal Wheeler, all one word. Same with my MySpace page.
And what's the password to it? That's your account, right?
Yeah, you're asking me my password? That makes me feel a little weird, to tell you the truth. Like, what's going on with that, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, no, you just said you could access it for us, but we figured we just access it ourselves.
Am I allowed to watch? I mean, that's not, I'm not trying to be rude or say anything, but that's kind of a setup, you know, like...
You know what, let me see if I can get a computer then up and running that you might be able to access. We can't do it from our government computers, it will block us.
Okay.
So that was one reason why. What is this? Oh, I just asked you about that.
It's upside down.
Yes, it is.
I held that initially. I believe I got that cardboard from Philadelphia. And excuse me real quick.
Must be tired after all that travel.
Oh yeah, you kidding? In the summer of 2010, I went from D.C. to Philly to D.C. to New York City, and had a great time. And you know, I was just like, well, I'm bored, ain't got nothing better to do. The Russians aren't accepting me. Nobody's really talking to me. What they told me was they were all scared of me because nobody knew who I was. And the fact that I mentioned the Pentagon in that date was a huge thing, because I guess there's like this untold story of something went down at the Pentagon on the day I was being interrogated that nobody talks about. So when I mention that, everybody gets quiet and gets really standoffish. So I wrote that and hung outside the White House holding that sign for a couple hours, just holding it right outside the White House. And then I kept it. And then last year on spring break, I did the same thing. I held it outside the Pentagon, and I held it outside the White House. And then this year on spring break, I held it outside the American Embassy and a couple other embassies.
So, those spring breaks, you're traveling using the money you earned during the summer, or from the student loan stuff, or?
Both.
Okay. So that's it.
What does the sign mean? What does it mean?
It's just stuff the government does, It's kind of like a protest, or not. I wouldn't say a protest, just like a, transparency. We all know this is going on, but you're not talking about it, and you should be.
Okay.
So.
All right. Well, give me 1 second.
Yeah, I have nothing else.
Oh, there is something I would like to talk about.
Wait
Okay.
till Jerry gets back in.
So how was your spring break?
Well, I really didn't have one.
Oh.
I've been working, so I haven't had a spring break.
Why not?
I'm just working. That's why. I think Italy would be fun. I wouldn't mind going there.
It was pretty nice, a little
Yeah.
cold at night, The first night I got there, I didn't have my paintings or anything. I just had my backpack. Okay, I'm just gonna walk around. You know, went to Trinity College, and I drank, and then I ran out of euros, and I was like, I have American cash, and they're like, euros, only euros, and I was like, okay, then I went on a hunt for euros, and every place was closed. Excuse me. I was planning on being in bed by now.
Me
But,
too. Just so you know, me too. Yeah.
So I just started walking around, and I ran into this Russian couple, and I guess in Germany it's completely okay to walk down the street with a bottle of booze and just drink it. Totally blew my mind, you know, even seeing like kids, you know, 16 years old, just hanging out, having a beer, smoking a cigarette, but not getting belligerent, you know, like complete self-control. And we just sat on the steps of this church, and just got drunk on Cuervo.
Mhm.
Like a big bottle of Cuervo. And then the dude was like, we're leaving, bye. I'm like, bye. And I just started walking around drunk, having a great time. Ran into this girl from Brazil, hung out with her for the night, and no clue what her name was or anything.
Just a couple more questions.
That's what I wanted to talk about also.
Okay, what are these?
Truth?
CDs.
Okay, did you ever hear about how the snitch file got put online by accident?
Mesa County?
Mesa County?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's part of it.
This is part of...
No, that's part of it, the truth. This is my art collection. That's even what it says, art portfolio, full-length master.
And so
There's
that's...
no music on that one, though.
So these two truth things have to do with the accidental release of that information?
Yeah, and on there's some really hardcore stuff about, like, Frank Daniels being part of the chicken whacker satanic cult, raping and murdering children. It's all on there, cops giving meth to pregnant women.
And what is this blank one? Or that doesn't have anything on it?
I have no idea. Can I... wow, it's all scratched up. No clue. It should be a truth.
Okay.
If not, I actually have no idea what's on it then.
So that's what this one is. Do you have photos on this camera?
Yes. It's not completely mine. I borrowed that, so
Okay.
all the photos on there aren't mine.
How many, do you know how many there are on here?
Oh, there's probably like 1,000 photos.
Okay. Are we going to find, if we look through this, any photos of a stepping stones?
No. Nope. You go right.
Officers?
Would you like me to show you?
Yeah, if you would.
Okay.
How long have you had that camera?
My trip in Rome.
Okay.
I actually, well, this past summer. Cologne?
What is this?
It's a pheromone cologne.
Pheromone cologne.
Alright, this camera I initially borrowed from a friend, Ian, and last summer, and I used it on my vacation for the summer. Then I gave it back to him when I came back, and then for spring break I borrowed it again. And so here.
How many photos did you take while you were in Rome?
Photos and videos. Like these sets of videos are me drunk at our buffet at the Frankfurt Hotel, bragging about its free beer, and it was. And
we don't have to go through all those photos because that could probably take a long time.
okay. Basically, like this is like a 3-second thing of right when I was getting detained outside of the Russian embassy. I tried getting it real quick, but then they spotted me with the camera, and then they were not happy with that. And then these are just pictures of me. This is Found a Treve, Found a Treve, just more videos. I think that might be the Pantheon. This is the Pope. This was Wednesday at the Vatican. You know, just more pictures. Yeah, obelisks all over the place. That is the Angel of Grief. I kissed her hand. The Pyramid of Cestia, that's me. That's the Colosseum. More of the Colosseum. This is, somebody spray painted a stencil on a police thing, and I can't remember what it said, but I think it said free roam, or, yeah, it says free roam on it. And that's the Coliseum, that's a lock, and above it says free roam, and that was spray painted onto the window of a police thing. And this is a remake of the original Gutenberg press. I got to operate it and make my own printing of 1 Samuel 25. And this is inside the Vatican.
Okay.
And that's more Vatican.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what those are. Oh wait, that's me in Canada. This right here, this is starting me, because this is not me. Like this,
Okay.
I don't know what all this is. It's just, see, these are some of my pictures from my my trip, 'cause this is the same memory card.
Mm-hmm.
And we did some activism work this summer. I wasn't a part of it, but they went up to the Black Forest National Forest, and they dug up biohazardous waste.
Okay.
It even made worldwide news. Al Jazeera put it on their cable. But that's not us. So
This is not you, okay. So your photo stopped there after,
I'll show you.
back at the fence posts that we were looking at.
And this is a picture of me holding my first paycheck I received from the Working Artists Artist Gallery on Main Street. It has some of my pottery in there. It's like $27. And I believe, yeah, this is just the start. You know, I was just checking out the camera. I believe this was in Canada. And let's see.
Okay. That's fine, we can turn that off then. Does this cell phone work? It looks kind of bagged up.
It is my cell phone.
This one's your personal cell phone?
Yes.
And whose is this cell phone?
That's my cell phone. I found it like a month ago, and I guess it suffered from water damage. And I put music on it because this one was messing up.
Are there photos on here too?
On the SIM card, but not photos of like Rome. There's only photos of my paintings. Would you like me to show you?
Yeah, if you wouldn't mind.
That was in a magazine, and I think that's what they used to do lethal injection.
Okay, so why would you have...
I wanted to look it up. I wanted to know what that was. Pancuronium?
Mm-hmm.
So I believe the sodium thiopental, that's a, what do you call that, a paralyzer?
Mm-hmm.
And the potassium chloride, I think that's the actual thing they kill you with. I don't know what the pancuronium is.
Why were you interested in that?
We did a report on that with the red pill.
Okay. Do you have access to any of these chemicals?
No. Believe it or not, I'm not that type of person, and I can't find pictures.
So
Camera, here we go.
that doesn't have an active phone function on it?
No.
Okay.
Okay, I'm trying to find, like, there should be, it's just pictures of, here, I know there's some videos of my paintings.
That's right. Is there anything on this
Like
one?
here, this is, one of the angels that I gave to the Pope, and it's, there you go. That video doesn't do it justice at all, to tell you the truth. And I think you gotta hold it the other way to see it. When you'll see the,
Yeah.
Actually, it's this way,
Upside down.
like that.
And how about this phone? This is just for phone calls, or you have photos on here? Or
Everything, I switched out the SIM cards to put the music on here, because as you can see, the screen's messed up,
Mhm.
so I really can't,
see what it is, yeah.
or not see what it is, I can't change the song or do the music, so the not the SIM card, the memory card, the SD card in here is the one for here, but I took it out and put it in here so that way I can listen to the music easy.
Okay. Does this one work as a phone?
Yes, that is correct. That is my personal phone, 970-208-6329.
You know what? Okay. I'll have you say it one more time in a sec.
Okay. Do you know what pancorium is?
No, I don't. I do, you know, I do know the other two, you were right on with those. I know those, but I don't know what that pancorium is.
So just real quick, those truth CDs, they actually have the released documents from the accidentally released documents? Okay. I think that's it.
Yeah, I don't have anything else.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no sort of think of.
Let me, just,
Okay.
I'll be right back.
Okay. I appreciate you talking to us, Kenny.
Well, you know, if we had the chance to sit down before this, it probably would have never happened like this. But then again, you know, I just get ignored. Even by you so many times.
You're not ignored this time.
You know, it's a shame that it has to be like this.
We gotta get that filled out. Turn that off. We're done with the interview, so,
You want to do your thing?
I've got a police officer from the Junction PD, just wants to talk to you for a minute. And, then actually, just so you know, tonight you're gonna be spending the night at Mesa County,
All right.
okay?
On a federal hold?
On a federal hold, yep. We had an actual arrest warrant for you, so you were gonna be seeing the judge tomorrow at 2 o'clock,
Okay.
the federal judge.
All right.
So, we'll make sure we tell the, when we get to the county about your glycemic problem,
Okay.
so.
I'm Officer Vaughn with the Grand Junction Police Department. I work at the college. I'm specific to there. So,
No, I'm good, I gotta.
they were made aware of some of the stuff that's going on, so they asked me as a representative then
Okay, yeah.
to deliver this letter, okay?
Am I expelled?
You're on, it says, an interim suspension, okay? So this letter explains what you need to do, but you need to contact Brian Rooks, he's the student conduct officer, to schedule a hearing with him, okay? But you're not allowed on campus until you have that hearing with him. So you have to get that scheduled through him. His contact information is in this letter, okay? So, like I said, I'm just delivering that letter for the school as their representative.
And Kenneth, let me just say, sounds like that was gonna happen whether we showed up at the airport or not, and that's totally separate from what we're doing. But as a result of your postings.
Do you have any questions on that before I go?
No, you have one today. Could you just tell everybody at school thank you and sorry for any inconvenience?
Well, you get a chance to talk to Mr. Rooks, okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So
If they're done with it, you don't have any jewelry, any piercings?
Nope.
You don't have a watch on?
Nope.
Remove your belt?
Okay, I do have change and stuff in my pocket.
Go ahead and lose that. And where, no, go ahead.
I'm sorry, with your backpack and stuff, is there anyone you trust enough to hold your personal property? So we don't have to take it to the jail tonight? That I can contact
Because I'm gonna
tomorrow?
tell you right now, if they take it to the jail, I'm the U.S. Marshal. It won't be going out with you at the jail. If I transfer you down to Denver for hearings or whatever, it ain't going with you. What you got on right now without that belt is what you're gonna be wearing. So if you got somebody that they can contact to give it to you, that's your best bet, because nothing goes with you when you're in my custody.
All right, I guess, friends I trust are at the Collective House,
Where's that located?
629 U-Ray.
Do you have a name, somebody that you wanna give it to?
Bernie or Eric.
Bernie, are they there all the time?
Usually, Bernie gets off around 11. She, can't remember who she works for, but she works with, disabled people.
Okay. But she works at the Collective House?
No, she lives there. We just call it the Collective
Okay.
House.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Is there a phone number there, or does Bernie have a cell phone number? Is it on your cell phones?
245, it's under Jacob Richards in the phone book, to the best of my knowledge.
Jacob Richards in the regular phone book?
Mhm.
Not on your cell phone book?
No.
Okay.
Bernie would be in my cell phone.
Bernie's in your cell phone?
Mm-hmm.
The white one?
Yes.
So we can't see the screen?
Yeah.
And it's not in the other one,
No.
the BlackBerry? Bernie, what's Bernie's last name?
No clue.
629 Ure, that's where they live.
629 U-Ray.
What's the best time to go there if I want to say, hey, I've got kind of stuff, he says he trusts you guys to keep it?
Mid-afternoon, 2, 3 o'clock.
Go and lose the belt.
Do I get a bond?
We're going to keep.
That's up to the judge.
We're going to keep all your personal belongings together, so,
Still got gloves on?
get a bag. You want to finish this french fries?
He's got gloves on.
No.
You want to take that and put it with the change that's in that coat pocket?
There's a dollar bill in there too.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine.
Okay, so all your stuff that you had on you today, we're going to put in a box or a bag and bring it there. Okay? This is what's going to happen, okay? I see you're upset. I can understand that.
And you all are upset too, I understand that.
Tonight, you're going to spend the night in Mesa County.
Mhm.
Tomorrow, it's whatever time I and one of my partners are going to come and pick you up, and we're going to take you for your initial appearance in front of the federal magistrate judge here in Junction. She's then going to tell you, basically read you your charges, tell you you have the right to an attorney, and blah, blah, blah. From that point on, I'm not 100% sure what's going to happen. So
Okay.
there's a possibility that you're going to be housed back at Mesa, pending what they call a detention hearing. I don't know. Okay?
All right.
Just trying to be straight with you. You've been a gentleman with us the whole night, and you want to do the same. Okay?
Can I ask, what am I facing? What am I looking at?
You know, honestly, this all happened so quickly, I haven't even looked what that would possibly be. Tell me if he's too tight.
They're good.
You good?
Actually, I guess I'll wait till you're done.
How's that?
All right?
Well, we've got a 2-minute ride over to the ESO's office there. All right. I'm gonna have you just sit on the couch there until we're ready to get you out of here.
So,
Is there anybody else? You have a girlfriend?
No.
So this is the best place, 2629 you're at, and you're comfortable with that?
Yeah, I'm comfortable with that.
Okay. You have laces in your shoes or?
No,